So what we're working on today is this Louisville truck. I need to get everything cut off of this thing that hangs below the frame rail. So we're going to take the hood off, the quarter fenders, the fuel tank, the battery box. We're going to take the snowplow mount off, the PTO, the hydraulic pump that runs that system, the frame extension for that, a front axle, and then we're going to cut the frame right behind the cab. I started originally trying to take this thing apart with sockets and wrenches, and everything is just so rusty. I end up fighting it, and nuts and bolt heads are rusted away to where they're the odd size crap and all that. I just got fed up with it, so I end up using the plasma cutter and the torch to take most of it apart. Now this is 4 days of video. I'm condensing it down just to the key pieces we're taking off because it just took forever. The rust just made it such a problem. And like I said, we're trying to get this down as light as we can, as short as we can in length, and as short in height as we can. Drew from Drew Man's Driveway is coming down to get this, and you got to transport it, and you got to get it able to be transported where it's not too heavy for them or too long or too tall. So a lot of this stuff was just total grief and aggravation, but eventually we get it. We just keep plugging along. I actually did a little bit. I took like 5 or 6 hours one day, 12 hours another day, I think 7 hours another day, and probably, I don't know, all said and done, we got a lot of time invested. But here's all the highlights of what we're taking apart so you guys can check it out.
Well, we got the plow assembly cut off with the torch and the frame. Just taking it away now to set it off to the side somewhere.
I was having trouble with my torch, so I went into my supplier, which many of you probably already saw this on the community page of our YouTube channel, but I went in there and I had a Victor torch before. It's all Victor setup, and what I needed on mine was in basically the head. Well, by the time I'd buy that head, they told me how much that price was. Well, Victor has a program that's called the Trade-In, Trade-Up, and you can trade in your old torch assembly, the whole head assembly, and you get a discount on the new one. So I was able to trade my old one in, which was no good and needed repaired, to get this one for 115 bucks, and I went up a step. So it was a pretty good deal. Same place I always buy my stuff from, that was at Matheson Gas. I got to drive quite a distance to get there, but it's well worth it, man. The guys over there are really fantastic. I've been buying there since 1995. The same salesman I deal with since 1995. That's when I bought my first welder. That's where these torches came from. The cart, the tanks, everything came from them. So good guys. I think that was a pretty good deal because just the head was more money than the $115 trade up. So now we can get back to work on this truck.
Wow. There it went.
It was tough cutting this frame because it was so rusty. It's like you cut one layer of steel, the actual steel, but it would leave behind 3 or 4 layers of rust that, you know, weren't getting cut because they weren't as hot as the actual main frame. So I had to keep going over this and over this. So I could cut through one section and there'd be some rust behind it. And you really don't cut rust. You just kind of melt it and or heat it up and it pops loose. It was just horrible, cracking and popping all over the place. This took far too long, and eventually we get it, but you know, there wasn't really a lot of good sparks being thrown like you see here. Most of the time it was just a little bit because, you know, you think you got through and then you look and then, you know, there's more. And I took a hammer. You saw me take a hammer to this and try to beat all the rust loose, so it makes it a little simpler. But the theme of this truck has been nothing but rust, and you wouldn't think that. I mean, if you look at the screen here, you see the picture of the frame right there, the section by the leaf spring hanger. It's clean as a pin. It's in really nice shape, but inside this frame rail is so thin. I mean, there's a section there that's it's paper thin. There's holes in it, you know, rust holes all throughout the whole frame, front to rear, in different sections, different spots where like salt was trapped and they never got it out. But it just took a little time. We got it done, and we're just about ready. Next, we'll cut this frame, knock it loose. Then we need to move it out of the way and start taking the wheels and tires off the axle so we can set it off to the side. I brought the frame section over to the shop so I can get these wheels and tires off. I'm going to set this axle off to the side. It's a 6:13 ratio Dayton style hub. Not real popular. Probably not going to be able to get rid of it. Not going to need it. Not going to use it. I'll probably end up throwing it in the scrap pile with these wheels. I'm going to take the wheels off and then dismount the tires. The side closest to the Gradall are both imports, a Sanson and a Toyo. Both of them have lower tread than is worth remounting, but it's good enough for like a truck I have. I just need something that tires to put on it to roll around. I'm going to take them off these wheels because I rarely ever buy a truck with open center Dayton style hubs. So we'll take them off, dismount them. The other side has Firestones with good tread and matching tread to a couple other sets I've got. So it'll complete the set. So we'll set them aside. We'll put them all in the tire shed. We'll have them for later. The one Samsung took me as long to dismount as it did all three others. Them things are, for whatever reason, they seem to be a little tougher to get off of the rim than others. But we're doing this. We got the truck ready, and Drew should be here in the morning. I just want to get this handled and get this stuff out of the way. So next we'll be loading him up. It's the next day. Drew is here. It's like 11:30, 11:45 in the morning. He left his place at 5 something. It was over a 6 hour, 6.5 hour drive, something like that. He said he drove this truck down. This is an early 90s, 90, 91 F350. It started off life as a 7.3 IDI with an E4OD automatic transmission. Needless to say, that's not what's in it now. Um, I'm not going to touch too much on Drew's truck because we have a whole nother video where we talk about every single piece of this whole entire build. There's more to it than just 22.5 tires. Trust me, you guys are watching my stuff probably because you like trucks. You're not going to want to miss this. You're going to want to go to Drew's channel. It is Drew Man's Driveway. I'll put the link in the description box. You can check it out. You're not going to want to miss this. Drew does beautiful work. Attention to detail, good craftsmanship, good welds. um, you're going to want to see this build. I'm not going to go too far on it because I have a whole video coming where we talk about his truck, but here we're getting the cab set on his bed, and you can see why it was so important to get it as low as possible and as light as possible because he's going to take this thing home. He's got some plans for it. I'm not going to tell you anything else out of that because you have to watch his channel to find out what's going on. But we got him all set up. I think we put 5 or 6 straps on it, and I just got a text message from him. He said he made it home with no troubles. Of course, he was later than he thought he would be because, well, I might get a little gabby when we start talking trucks, and I might have held him up a little ways. But he brought his buddy Zach with him, lifelong buddies from school, great guys. We had such a nice time. It was a good day. I was happy to meet him. I can't wait for him to come back next time when they pick up the next stuff, which I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're just going to have to wait and see. Now, I am going to I have another video coming out where we talk about his truck, his project, what he did, the build, everything. So look forward to that, but don't hesitate to go to his channel and check it all out, guys. We got him ready to go. Drop the lead. Can you get me some jack stands? I don't know how much longer I can hold this.
Oh my gosh.